Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel and the stream. This is Bucks Nelson with the At Me Bro Show. We're going to be doing a deep dive on Sean Elliott. We're going to get through this one pretty fast. Because the bottom line is, Sean Elliott's 6'8". He's a great shooter. His shot takes a little getting used to, but I shot around with him for a long time. And I was able to get a lot of greens. He only has an 80 driving dunk, so he cannot get contact dunks without a shoe. And a little help from maybe a coach or takeover or floor general. He's got a 90 ball handle, which we'll get into, and no real post up to speak of. Rebounding is okay, nothing great. Interior defense is solid with an 81. Obviously, perimeter defense is fairly excellent. Steals an 80, which is pretty good. Block is a 70, which is not outstanding, but could be worse. Shot contest is solid, and speed is 93. Lateral quickness 94. So and you see the verticals at 80. So he's not the most athletic guard in the world. He does have an 80 strength, which is solid. Let's look at those badges real quick. First defense, he's got Clemson Intimidator, Hall of Fame, along with Pick Dodger and that pogo stick. Let's see, he's got Ankle Breaker, Handles for Days, Downhill, Tight Handles, Quick First Step. All of the good badges. Let's see, Quick Draw and Range Extender, both Hall of Fame. So this card looks like a monster from this stuff. However, once we get to the animations, we'll find out a different story from Mr. Elliott. So he's solid off of the peak. See if I can find that green window again. So the thing about his green window is it's fairly small. Like, I've shot around with him enough to find the green window and be able to stay in the green window. And it's, once you get in there, you can definitely stay in there, but he's just not Walter Davis, right? Like, that's it at the end of the day. He's not a bad shooter, but I do think he might be a bit of a full white monster for a lot of people because of that fairly small green window. So again, not impossible to shoot with him, just letting you guys know what's up. So that's his regular shot. We looked at his peak shot. We'll take a look at that again. There we go. So that's the speed of his peak shot. He has a very, the odd thing about his release is that the release point is very early in his jump shot animation. So if you guys see here, I'm gonna just take a shot. Show you guys real quick what I'm talking about. So come on, cameraman. There we go. All right, so if you see his shot from this side, right, the ball is above his head and then he starts rising up and all that, but his release is almost like right here. As soon as the ball is like, as soon as it hits this uppermost point, you gotta let it go. You know what I mean? So you see here, like, he lets it go fairly early. So you just gotta watch that when you're shooting with this card. You see that? It was a slightly late, and I released it almost as soon as the ball was above his head. So it's like almost the very second the ball is above his head. Like maybe a very split second afterwards is when his release window is. I just wanted to highlight that so that for those of you who do get this card, maybe a Spurs fans or whatever, you know, to help you out with it. But that is what's going on with Sean Elliott. And again, this is his peak speed. Solid, not great. Here, check out his leaners real quick. Nice leaner, very nice straight up and down leaner. So I do like that. All right, so let's get into his animations. So he has a very bad behind the back. Not bad. He's a big man's behind the back. That's the problem. He's 6'8" and he has like a 6'8" guys behind the back. He has a great between the legs though. So here's what I don't like about his behind the back. His between the legs is fantastic, but his behind the back in the half court, it just takes too long to initiate, right? So let's see if we can cut some in. Yeah, you see that big pause? That pause there makes it not useful in the half court at all. And the behind the back can be pretty useful in the half court. I shouldn't say not at all, but I think it's fairly subpar. It's definitely not one of the top two. I would even say it's not one of the top three behind the back moves. There's kind of a big slowdown on it. So it doesn't give you a great change of direction, doesn't really slow you down. It moves you a little bit to the side, like, you know, it kind of glides you a little bit. That's something that's good on a center, not great on a 6'8" card. So there's that. And then the between the legs we saw, it's really quick. It initiates very quickly. That's the good thing about his between the legs, is his between the legs starts at the very beginning of like the animation. Like he puts the ball between his legs. He has very slow, very fast startup is what I mean to say. So that's really good about him. But other than that, he's not a great dunker at the 80. You saw that he didn't hop dunk right there. Bad behind the back. He doesn't have a Pro 3 hezi. That's pretty useless hesitation. You might as well just tap left trigger or tap up on the stick to get this one, because that's going to do you much better. You see there the quick first step, he explodes out of that very quickly. But he does have a good step back. He has the kind of step back that you can combo out of the snatch back. This one, the kind of double hippity hop joint. So that's good. Can't complain about that. Let's see, how's it look out of the hezi? Yeah, it combos fairly well out of the hezi too. So he has a little bit of stuff going on the perimeter, but just not much. He really is pretty much a cone. And if you want him for the purposes of being a cone, he's tall, which is a plus. He's got great shooting stats. I don't think he has the best release in the world, which is a minus, and he's also not a great dunker. So I would say if you were going to do a spotlight to play this role, I would highly recommend either Cam Reddish, or I would say Cam Reddish for this particular role is definitely going to be way better than Sean Elliott. And if you're going for a 3 to do that, then I would say Cam or Roko if you were going to grind for a card. I would definitely say, even though Sean Elliott's not as horrible as Michael Finley, who's just like got some of the worst animations in the game, Sean is just average. He's just solid. The stats make him look better than he actually is, especially since he just doesn't have a good dunk package. Some people with an 80 dunk will be, good dunkers. I think Sean is not going to be in that category. He doesn't have the vert. And he also, and I want to leave you guys with this last thing, he just doesn't feel explosive. Like because of his dribbling animations, he also has a kind of a rotten size up package. So he just feels a little, slow, a little sluggish. He just doesn't have that pop to him. So it's kind of like the opposite of I would say, like, as a big, Blake Griffin. Like, Blake Griffin, for me, I can really make Blake Griffin move because I know what animations to trigger. I've played around with Sean Elliott for quite a bit, and I just feel like he's pretty sluggish for a 6'8 guy. Pretty sluggish. So I think there are definitely better places to go. All right, guys, so that is going to wrap it up for my Sean Elliott breakdown. Let me see if the chat has anything to say before I get out of here. But, yeah, that's it. I mean, this is a solid card. Nothing great, nothing spectacular. The bottom line is, if you're doing spotlights, I would definitely say he's way behind Dr. J and Walter Davis from the historics, and he's behind Cam Reddish, and I would even put him behind Kevin Porter, to be honest with you. Cam Reddish, Kevin Porter, and Roko for the 3, if you were going to play this card at the 3. All right, guys, that's going to be it. Hopefully this informed you or helped you in some way. Please like or subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Oh, Joey Blaze is saying you think you need to play him like Klay Thompson, but Klay Thompson has a Pro 3 hezi. So Klay Thompson can at least, in a pinch, get open on the side. He can use the Pro 3 hezi to get himself open. And I also just don't think his shot is good enough. Believe me, I sat in here and I got it to the point where I could green with him like basically 10 times in a row. So I know what the window is, and I just don't think it's one of the better windows for a card that doesn't do all of the other things. I think there are cards like him who aren't great at a whole bunch of things, but they're like phenomenal at shooting. I think Elliott is a good shooter if you take the time to learn the shot, but he's just not an elite jump shooter. You can just tell he just doesn't have that extra little bit of specialness that you're feeling like a Rudy Gay, a Walter Davis, a T-Mac, Paul George, all of the good shooting cards, Tyler Hero, and so on and so forth, like, Michael Redd. Like, he's just not in that crew. And my thing is, I think he needs to be in that crew to earn a spot on the team. That's the main thing. I think he needs to be in that. I think he needed to be an elite shooter to be like a really good card, because he's just a little sluggish, doesn't have, and when I say good dribbles, I don't just mean like the really like the boogie on your dribbles. I'm just talking about the simple stuff that you need to, cook with a card a little bit, even in a full court. All he has is that between the legs and the fact that he can't dunk. So, I mean, he does have the elite defense, and that's you got to play the card in game to see how well he actually defends. His wingspan looks solid. So I think if you're playing like even as a 3-and-D player, I just think there are better options, to be honest with you. He's not one of the better 3-and-D cards in the game. The main thing he has going for him is he's 6'8". Outside of that, I can't really recommend much with this Sean Elliott card. All right, guys. You said after playing around with him online, you couldn't hit a lot of greens. Team God, yeah, man. He has a small window. He has a very small window, and with cards with a really small window like that, you can get it down. But any change in the circumstances, the way he catches the ball, the online latency being a slightly different connection, and you'll find you might just be super cold. That's why I was saying For some people, he's going to be a full white monster, man. I just don't think he's at that elite level of shooter that, again, for a guy who's not the greatest dunker, not the greatest dribbler, he's 6'8", not 6'9", so he's big for the position, but he's not elite in size. I just can't really recommend this card, to be honest with you. All right, so with that having been said, for those, I mean, listen, this isn't really a card review, it's a card breakdown. So if what I said did not deter you, by all means, have fun with Sean Elliott. All right, guys. No, I haven't gotten Caron Butler yet, but he will be here soon. I'm going to finish the West Spotlights. I think I only have 4 left. Get Mullen, and then I'll switch back over to the East. You guys know I already got Dr. J and Derrick Rose. So then I'll go and do the East, and hopefully we'll be able to get Gilbert by this weekend, and we'll get Caron Butler like tomorrow or the day after or something. All right? Guys, thanks so much for rocking with me. I will see you all in the next one. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Share the videos for those Spurs fans that you think this video might help. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.